A man chose a woman over wisdom and power, and 10 years later, over thousands of ships were at war, heroes were dead, and an entire city was in flame, and it all started with a wedding. They don't teach history like this in your school, but between me, you, and this stick man, we're going to change that. Welcome to the Ancient Tea channel. Today's tea is about how one woman, one wooden horse, and a very bad decision led to the most chaotic war in history. Stay tuned, guys. Long ago, during the Brown Age era, there were two major civilizations, the Troy Kingdom. The Troy Kingdom was headed by King Priam and his wife King Hecuba. This was not just kingdom, it was known to be the most powerful and wealthiest kingdom. It was known for its thriving trade and it was protected by its wall, which was unbreakable. On the other hand, we have the Greek kingdom. The Greek kingdom comprises of many kingdoms such as Sparta, Ithaca, Myrmidon, Mycenae, and many other kingdoms. This caused a little bit of dispute, whereas one kingdom was wanted to overtake the other. So they were never really at peace. But one thing the Greek kingdom had in unison was their military. The one major feature that both civilizations had, which was their religion. Both civilizations believed in their gods. They believed the gods intervened in their day-to-day lives, even to the point of them getting married to their gods. And this is how the Great Trojan War started. There was a wedding between a sea god Thetis and King Peleus. This wedding was known to be the most epic and grand wedding. Every citizen, god, anyone you could think of was invited, aside Ares, who was the god of dispute. Obviously, because nobody wanted the god of dispute in their wedding. When they were dining and having a swell time, enjoying themselves, god Ares stormed in the wedding and threw a golden apple. Now, this apple was a sign of dispute because every god wanted the golden apple, and the golden apple had a word inscribed on it called Callistics, which means to the fairest. Every god argued and wanted this apple. Majorly three gods, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. These three gods wanted the apple and went to Zeus, god of all gods, to decide who is to have the apple. Zeus left this judgment to an unknown human shepherd boy called Paris. Paris was said to be a good-looking and charming shepherd boy. Unknown to him, when his mother was pregnant, she had a dream that her baby was going to be a flame that would burn down the whole Troy kingdom. That's right, guys, you heard me, Troy kingdom, meaning Paris was the son of King Priam and Queen Hecuba. Paris was left to the decision on the judgment of the golden apple, and the three gods tried to manipulate his decision. Hera promised him to be the greatest and the most powerful king of all time, whereas Athena promised him wisdom. He's going to be the wisest man to be alive. Aphrodite, unlike the two gods, Aphrodite promised Paris a woman to love and treat him as a queen. You guys, Paris accepted Aphrodite's promise and she promised him a woman called Helen. I believe Aphrodite left the part that Helen was already a married woman. Helen was known to be the prettiest lady. Every suitor wanted her. Her father, King Tyndareus, let's just call him Daddy T, because you guys, these names are long. Daddy T was scared that if he picked a suitor over another, it would lead to chaos. Odysseus, who was known to be the cleverest warrior and the ruler of Ithaca, made a suggestion that all suitors should take an oath, and this oath states that whoever she gets married to, be it him or any suitor, shall never strike their sword against each other, and whenever her marriage is being met with a problem, all suitors will strike up their sword and fight for their marriage. All suitors took this oath, and this oath was called the Oath of Tyndareus or the Oath of Daddy T. Daddy T chose Menelaus, who was the king of Sparta, to get married to his daughter Helen. Menelaus was not just king, his brother King Agamemnon, or let's just call him King Agi. Their kingdoms, Sparta and Mycenae, was known as the most powerful kingdom amongst all Greek kingdoms, whereas any threat for one kingdom led a threat to the other kingdom, so this made both kingdoms powerful. Paris, on the other hand, traveled to Troy, where he had an athletic competition, where it was said that he defeated all royalties in the city, and this caused disputes because every royalty wanted to kill the man who literally won their competition. But he was saved by King Priam, who saw Paris and immediately felt the fatherly love and knew this was his son and took him to the palace. On his arrival, Paris encountered an unfriendly welcome by his stepsister Cassandra. Cassandra, who was gifted with the blessing of being able to see the future by God Apollo. When God Apollo wanted to get married to her, she refused, and God Apollo caused his gifts that Cassandra will be able to see the future, but no one will believe. Cassandra was the princess who saw the future, but was never believed. When Cassandra saw Paris entering the palace, she cried out loud that this boy is going to cause a flame in the kingdom, but nobody believed her. Paris was getting ready to find his long-lost wife, Helen. When Paris arrived at Sparta, he was welcomed wonderfully by King Mani and his wife Helen due to their believed god Xenia. Xenia was more of a sacred belief to the Greek kingdom. Whereas if you have a visitor, you must treat your visitor with hospitality, you must eat with them, you must dine with them, you must give them a place to stay. So they followed this tradition seriously. Fortunately, Mani was summoned by the people of Crete. He was to go for his grandfather's funeral. Mani left instantly, but left a message for all maidens, all citizens, all staffs, mostly his wife, to treat his visitor with love, and they should remember what his Nia is. Unknown to him what was about to happen. Now here's the plot twist. Some historians wrote that while Mani was in Crete, Queen Helen actually fell in love with Paris and decided to live with him, while other historians believed that she was actually kidnapped by Paris. When Mani returned, he returned to an empty home. This made him furious. He called on his brother, King Agi. To Agi, this war against Troy was more of an imperial ambition. He thought if he defeated the great Troy kingdom, he was going to be known as the most powerful king. King Mani called on the oath of Daditi. He called on the great Achilles. We're going to call him Achilles, who was the leader of the Memendum and known to be the most powerful warrior of the whole Greek kingdom. He called on Ajax the Great, the king of Salamis, and other warriors to join him with this battle. This was a war assembly. On their way, over thousands of ships and hundreds of warriors were sailing to the Troy kingdom. They found themselves stuck on a route called Orlis. They were agitated. Imagine thousands of warriors, hundreds of ships just stuck, going nowhere. Were the gods angry with the Greek warriors for going to battle in Troy? Were the gods in support of the Troy? Were the gods really in support of Paris being together with Helen? Or is something even darker going to happen? And that's where we're stopping for today. Don't come for me, guys. Subscribe, watch out for episode 2 because something messy is going to happen. Drop in the comment section. What do you guys think? Do you think the gods are in support of the Troy kingdom or not?